Hi, my name is Jaden. The topic I chose to research and present to you is Mr. Kirk Kerkorian, who is the founder of MGM Resorts International. Real quick, some subtopics I will be going over with you will include a brief introduction of Kirk's life, mostly some facts. I will also provide information on some of his childhood jobs, Kirk's aviation experiences, his Las Vegas investments, how the film corporation Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer comes into play, Las Vegas and early MGM life, and I will conclude with a short video in conclusion of Mr. Kerkorian's successes. Mr. Kerkorian is an example of a true underdog. He was born in Fresno, California, and he spent most of his childhood in poverty as his family had very little to offer. He learned very early on that you must work hard for things that you need and or want. And with that, he surely dropped out of school post 8th grade, and he started working to help his family. He found himself as an amateur boxer at one point, and he later found a passion for aviation. With the money he earned from his hustle working, he was able to go to school and obtained his pilot license. And after several low-end investments, Kirk made it to Las Vegas to start investing in 1955. By 1973, he would have opened the original MGM Grand, which was the largest hotel in the world at that time. Mr. Kerkorian unfortunately passed away June 15, 2015, considerably one of the richest men alive. So upon dropping out of school, Kirk began his lifelong journey of earning money by helping his dad sell fruit in the produce market. He also made some change by dropping off newspapers. Kerkorian started training to be an amateur boxer, like I mentioned, at a young age, and very rapidly became well known to locals as Rifle Wright for having such a strong record with very few losses. Him and his brother both acquired jobs to move boulders on the MGM movie studio lot. He also helped a friend install furnaces for a while, and mind you, this same friend took Kirk Kerkorian on his first plane ride on a single-engine plane, which was when Kirk found a love for aviation, a love that would later land him a position for Britain's Royal Air Force. In World War II, as mentioned, Kirk flew mosquito bombers from Canada, where they were manufactured, to Scotland. Each trip were some of the most dangerous trips a pilot could take, earned him probably around $1,000, in which he used the money to later purchase a single-engine Cessna plane. He used this plane to instruct others to fly and used the money he profited from instructing and gambling to purchase a low-end charter line. He renamed this charter line from Los Angeles Air Service to Trans International Airlines and offered the first jet service on a non-scheduled airline. He continued charter flights to Las Vegas, and actually, fun fact, he even flew mobster Bugsy Siegel from LA to Las Vegas, who was a few days later assassinated, likely having to do with the failed profit of the Flamingo. So Kirk's Las Vegas investments. From 1950 to 1954, Kirk spent a lot of his time flipping larger planes and automobiles for profit. He used this money he gained off of doing so to purchase 1% of the Dunes Hotel, which he learned very quickly to not invest into businesses he didn't run. In 1960, that was the year Kirk bought his first jet for Trans International Airlines, which increased the stock price and also increased earnings. In 1962, Studebaker, which was an automobile company, offered to purchase over $1 million worth of Trans International stock, in which Kirk agreed, but later bought back the stock after disliking the company's means of managing. He then used the rest of the money made off of the original deal to acquire 80 acres of strip land. And in order to avoid connections with mobsters who were very active in Vegas during this time, Kirk slowly but surely traded land until he was able to claim most of the present day's convention center, or area close by to present day's convention center. There, he would open the International Hotel summer of 1969, which was the largest hotel and casino of that time. All right, so remember when I had mentioned Kirk acquiring a job out in the MGM movie studio lot? Little did he know at this time, he was going to eventually own most of the company. In 1969, MGM Studios was pretty much on the deep end and not being able to keep afloat. So Kirk borrowed millions of dollars in order to acquire a large portion of around 40% of that company. Kirk's motive in acquiring ownership in MGM Studios was set back for a while as his past business dealings would start to come back to haunt him. Rather than selling MGM to pay back his debt, he sold everything else, including his jet, yacht, half of the International Hotel and Casino he sold to Hilton. All he had now pretty much was the MGM Studios. He was being smart and slowly but surely increasing his earnings back up enough to which he decided to create the first MGM hotel property, in which he filled it with movie memorabilia, kind of matching the theme of movie studios. This new MGM property brought in tremendous profits and again was the biggest hotel and casino at its time of finished construction. November 21st, 1980 was a true disaster for many families and Kirk as a businessman. This day was when 85 guests lost their lives due to the MGM fire, which broke out on property, trapping people in their rooms. What killed them was the fumes and the smoke, and being trapped, they inhaled it and surely passed away. Kirk very generously settled with many of the lawsuits, even pulling money out of his own pocket to ensure all of the families of this tragic event were satisfied. His next goal was to rebuild the MGM, which he later sold to Bally's, along with the other properties in Las Vegas and Reno. Kirk invested and took over the Sands and Desert Inn from Howard Hughes, then 2 years later sold him to ITT Sheridan. 6 years later, he decided to recreate yet another world's biggest hotel and casino, which is present-day MGM Grand. Well, we know all of the activity and big impact Kirk had on our city of Las Vegas, so you can only imagine the reputation of this well-respected man. This video is from when he was put into the Gaming Hall of Fame. If you concentrate on the quotes and who said them, it will kind of give you an idea of how powerful and generous Mr. Kerkorian really was, being so active in Las Vegas during his time. All right. And then to conclude, Kirk Kerkorian to me, honestly, is such an overlooked figure. Not many people present day know about him and some of the things he's done for Las Vegas. I also believe that his perseverance saved him from complete failure, as well as some of the difficult decisions he had to make in order to continue in a positive direction, business-wise. Again, this man during his time was so intellectual and well respected for the most part, especially with people he physically and personally knew. I believe that though he is no longer with us today, MGM Resorts International still incorporates his values as an individual into their work environment as well as their day-to-day interactions with guests, vendors, and all other stakeholders. Yeah, here is a list of my resources. Thank you so much for watching.